So she left, and then the part where working, the part where talking to you and other people like Cam I've met, you guys have kind of heard me talking a little bit as we became friends, talking about the crazy legal fees. It was rough. I mean, man, it was not fun. I mean, that stuff's not cheap to have a divorce lawyer, and we never ended up in trial. We were able to eventually settle out, and I'm bound legally. I can't discuss any of the details of the litigation, and so I'm not going to discuss that. But it wasn't cheap. It was expensive, and it was rough. So not only am I sitting there having my marriage fail, and then my ex and my daughter take off and abandon me, but I'm getting hit financially in a very negative way. It was rough. Yeah. So it was really rough. But Jesus got me through it. And to backtrack a little bit, just to be very honest about her leaving, I never cheated on her. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't have any kind of substance abuse problem. I'm not a deadbeat. I've always worked and had jobs and always took good care of my ex and my daughter. She didn't have any reason to leave me.
All right, before we jump into conspiracy.
Oh, any questions you got?
I just got one question before we switch gears. What advice do you have for anybody dealing with marriage, or who either wants to get married or are in a marriage right now? What advice do you have for them?
Well, marriage is a beautiful thing. I've got no problem with marriage. I feel bad that mine failed, but I can give the advice on two different levels. If you're thinking about getting married, just make sure that the two of you are compatible. Make sure that you're just not so emotional and caught up in it. Make sure that the two of you understand that this is something that you're supposed to be in it for long haul. It's a lifelong commitment, and you just got to make sure it really helps. Oh my goodness, if you have the same religion, oh my goodness, that makes it, because you're going to have the, or if you're not a Christian like I am, if at the very least you have the same philosophy, you want to make sure that the meaning of life, you agree on that. And, you can have different personalities and different things, but you've got to have enough in common that there is a solid foundation for that marriage to last. And it's something beautiful. I mean, who wants to grow old alone and literally be alone with no family and no friends around you? I'm not saying that people have to have kids, but it's really good to have someone who has your back, to have someone that's, a companion for life, a friend and stuff. It's, you may notice, you guys probably have older people in your family. You go over to the house, you notice something. Always got a ton of pictures up. Pictures here, pictures there, because those memories are linked to those people, and it's good. And like it says in the book of Genesis in the Bible, it says God said it wasn't good for Adam to be alone. So he created Eve for him. And we're social creatures. I mean, they even call it social media because people like other people and they get along. I mean, some people get on people's nerves, but generally speaking, very few people want to be a hermit and want to be alone. So I think marriage is a beautiful thing. I went in with the best hopes of mine. And just because my marriage failed, I've seen other marriages that are wonderful. Like my pastor, Dean Odell, he and his wife, Nancy, great. Pastor Troy Towns and his wife, Dee Towns, another pastor couple. I know they have a incredible marriage. My brother next door and his wife have a great marriage. I went over to some friend's house last night. They invited me over for dinner. They have a great marriage. I mean, so I've seen a lot of really good ones. So it's, it's a good thing. And it's good to, you want people to stick to their guns and stick to the commitment. I mean, it's a great thing. Now, on the flip side, if you're getting divorced, it's, wow, it's a race to who files for divorce first. I had to learn the hard way that because I'm trying to be responsible and pay down my credit card and stuff that she had largely jacked up and left some stuff with, but I, was doing that over a period of time. And even some money I inherited from my uncle I was using to pay down some she was, always on spending sprees and stuff. She's got like an Amazon Lifetime Achievement Award. But I was doing everything I could. And then when she left, I discovered the hard way, guys. It's a numbers game. If you get divorced, whoever comes and files the paperwork, or it's called serving you with divorce papers, that's when the clock starts. And oh my goodness, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have been paying down my credit card. If I'd have known she was going to file for divorce and I would have known what I know now, you want to have that debt there so you can offset your assets and stuff and things. So, wow. So I had to learn the hard way on some of those things. And if you're going through a divorce, the dumbest thing you could do is, get physical and beat the person up. That's stupid. I mean, I've always said, my brother was always afraid how difficult my ex was. He's like, Robert, I was always afraid you were going to hit her. I said, no way. I said, look, no woman is worth going to jail over, especially her. I'm like, no way. We're not doing it.
Yeah.
And what people have to do is you have to control your emotions and control yourself, because if you hit them, it's over. You're done. You can lose your job. You can lose everything. You got to keep your head. And what you got to do if you're going through a divorce, you've got to get what we call in the Christian realm accountability partners. You got to get people and friends that you can talk to that can walk you off the ledge or keep your head in the game and keep you from doing stupid stuff and making stupid decisions. And you got to have people that aren't just going to agree with every idea you have. You got to have friends that can speak wisdom into your life and tell you like, hey, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, look, I know you're upset, but still, it's a bad idea. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. So I had friends like that. My pastor and some friends were very helpful. Now, I was never planning on doing anything drastic or anything stupid, but with my situation, it was just helpful to have some people to talk to and help me get through it. And I knew it was going to work out eventually because my faith in Jesus, and I just knew it was going to work out. But it wasn't fun. Even though I knew it was all going to work out and I was going to walk away from it, it didn't make it fun. And it was very, very difficult. But I had a lot of friends that stood beside me and sometimes told me things I didn't want to hear. And, my faith in God and Jesus and praying to the Holy Spirit and reading my Bible was very helpful to me. Very, very helpful. That was good. But if you're going through divorce, you need to don't do anything stupid. You need to get people around you to support you and tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And you need to have a strategy, to get out of this in one piece. And it was difficult. And by the grace of God, it worked out. I've still got the same job I had. I'm still staying in the same house that I was in. And I still got, most of the same friends that I had. There were a few that Max and I had together that I don't talk to anymore. I'd still say hi if I saw them at the grocery store or something, but yeah. So it was rough. It was this was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life. Different people have, it might be a car wreck, it might be the death of your child. So many people have, and you with the interviews you're doing, I know you've seen some horror stories, because I have I've watched one of the interviews. It was really good. But I've seen the titles of some of the other ones that I'm going to get around to watching. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a nightmare. And yeah, it's not easy. Divorce is terrible because they say the only thing more stressful than a divorce is having one of your own children die on the stress scale.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you got to reach out to people. If you're going through a divorce, and hey, if anybody out there is going through a divorce, you talk to me. I can help you save some serious money and crunch some numbers because you learn the hard way as you go through it and stuff. I wouldn't help anybody. I've got my morals. I wouldn't help somebody screw somebody else over.
Yeah.
But if somebody's like the victim in the situation, like I was, I would gladly help them and do the numbers. And in fact, there's a friend of mine that's getting ready to go through a divorce, and I have been helping him and telling him, do this, and we're preparing him to weather the storm better than I did.
Yeah.